which brand or which phone will you pick?
Sir, then I wanted to like it's iPhone basically. I'm planning like, so iPhone because it's a brand basically, and the camera quality and everything, and Samsung. So basically, first is like iPhone, like any like iPhone 13 Pro or iPhone 14. So because it's a brand.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So like some people will say Samsung, some will say iPhone. So different choices here. Now my question is, when I gave you a budget constraint, you said it is Oppo. But the minute I said there is no budget constraint, then you said Apple, iPhone, whatever. Now the question is, why not? Because if you think about it, even Oppo also sells phones for 1 lakh range. I mean, if you think about it, just like iPhone, even Oppo has expensive phones. Then why not Oppo phone for 1 lakh? Why iPhone?
Yes, I do also agree with that. But there's something that in the word called as aura. Then whenever you are handing the mobile of iPhone, the brand and the basically the like the features like Oppo have like two features in front of mine. So camera quality and the daily usage and the RAM. So I have a Oppo in front of me and the iPhone in front of me. So the answer of this question is basically the how exactly it gives me satisfaction after using it.
Yes. Now, whatever answer you have given, it is actually supported even by data as well. Now, if you look at the premium segment of smartphones, so majority of the people buy either Apple or Samsung. So Apple is number one, second is Samsung in premium category range. And even the data supports the same thing, not just in India, but in multiple countries. So what you said is true. I mean, even though it's subjective, but it holds uh, true across like multiple demographics and multiple segments, etc. Now, why did I ask this question and why did I talk about this topic is the reason why the minute you go to premium segment, why people say Apple or Samsung is it is the positioning, right? So that brand value, like you mentioned. So the brand has positioned their devices for that particular price range in such a way that the minute you say there is no budget or if you say high end, people will automatically, majority of the people will automatically go for either Apple or Samsung by default. Now it is not like objectively you can always say, okay, Samsung phone has better features or Oppo phone has better or iPhone has better features. It's not so it is not just objective. You can always compare, like for example, even if you take Samsung, so Samsung phones don't have fast charging, but still if you look at the premium segment, still Samsung and Apple are ruling. Both of them do not have fast charging. A lot of new features are not there, but still they do. Now the reason why they do because that is the position which they occupied in the mind of the consumers. That is their positioning. Now, for example, if I ask you like which brands of mobiles do you know? Now I am very sure that you will say a lot of brands, like at least like 5 to 10 brand names you will say. But I'm very sure that not many people are going to tell some brands like Techno or Zolo or Micromax. I'm very sure that those will be missed out if I ask you instant. Most of us will stick to the popular brands like Oppo, Vivo, or maybe OnePlus or Samsung or Apple. It's not like there are other brands don't exist. There are so many other brands which are there, but it's just that we go by popularity. Now the same thing applies when it comes to personal branding and when you talk about LinkedIn or anything for that matter. Okay, so today, for example, let's say I'm a manager and let's say I'm hiring for a particular position. Let's say I have a business. Let's say I want to hire someone who is very good in Power BI. Now, let's say I will get like 200 or 2000 resumes. Now, there is no way for me to filter those resumes because there is only one vacancy and there are so many resumes which are coming. Now, any hiring manager who is in that position, what he will do, what he or she will do, let's say 200 resumes will come. So, first, probably he'll say that, okay, probably if someone is from computer science background, maybe they'll be good in technical things. So they'll keep on adding filters until the number of resumes are reduced to maybe 5 or 10, and then probably they'll call 5 candidates or 10 candidates for the interview, and finally one person probably they'll roll out offer for 2 3 people, and finally one person will accept and they'll hire. I mean, that is what is going to happen. Now, how do you stand out from rest of the crowd? Now many people, what they don't know or what they are not aware is many positions in companies, many good positions in companies, are filled through promotions, right? Now imagine there is a manager post which goes vacant. Now immediately company will not go outside and hire someone, putting that okay, there's a vacancy for manager and they want to bring someone from the outside. No, first they will see whether internally they can hire someone, like probably someone who is a senior developer who can become a manager, or maybe a senior lead who can become a manager. Only if they feel that there is no talent in the company who can fill that role, then they will actually go outside and then they will go and hire and fill that particular position. So majority of the positions, if you see, very good positions, they fill internally. So they will not even go outside and they search for the market. Sometimes what happens, companies actually what they do is they will ask these talent agencies to go and find very good talent, and these talent agencies or talent acquisition or whatever you call it, these consultants will go in the market and then they will do their own research and then they'll hunt for the talent and then they'll come back. So companies will never directly, I mean, big companies especially, they never directly go and look for talent. They'll just outsource it to someone, and those guys will shortlist and give those profiles to the company, and then company will go and hire. And that is exactly the reason why, if you look at the good opportunities, many of the good opportunities just happen just like that internally. You will not even come to know, I mean, you will not even come across these opportunities either in Naukri or LinkedIn or any other job hiring sites. Now, if you look at majority of the positions for freshers, they happen through campus placement. Very rarely companies hire outside of campus, especially MNCs. Now, when you talk about experienced people, whatever I told you till now, that is the same thing which is applicable. And what many people actually miss is, many people think only about the skill. Now, skill is just one part. Apart from the skill, people also should feel reliable about it. That is also very important. Now, for example, the very good example which was given earlier was, I asked, okay, why did you purchase Oppo? Then immediately the answer was, okay, I there were some green line issues with OnePlus, so that's why I probably did not opt for OnePlus. That's why I went with some other brand. Here also it's the same thing. You may have all the skills, but if you don't have a reputation, then no matter how good your skill is, people are going to turn away. Now, when you talk about positioning, this is a marketing concept. Anyone who's from marketing, they'll easily understand what I'm talking about. That positioning is very important. Like, for example, if you take me, okay, so when I first started my LinkedIn journey, I was studying second year of MBA. I already had work experience before my MBA. So it's not like I was a fresher. So I was studying second year of MBA. It was COVID pandemic, and then I started my LinkedIn. And if you look at my college degree, so I studied electronics and communication in engineering, and then I was doing MBA in finance. So when I was studying MBA, our college did not have any analytics degree or anything like that. It was just a normal traditional branch, as you can say. So that is electronics branch, and my MBA is finance branch. I mean finance stream. So I did not have anything related to data science or analytics or anything, because today, if you see, there are separate branches or streams for data science education. So when I was studying, there were colleges which were offering that, but whichever college I chose, they were not offering it. Even then, I was still able to get into analytics and towards the data field. The only reason why I was able to do that because of my LinkedIn presence. Now, how did I do it is, I just increased my presence through my posts, by sharing my work, by sharing my thoughts, etc. That is how I came to know that, okay, like competitions will happen. We can participate in competitions. And LinkedIn is a place where you'll find mix of everyone. So you'll have freshers, you'll have working professionals, very senior leaders, etc. One of the mistakes what many people do is, people treat LinkedIn in the same way how they treat Naukri. So if you let's say if you're applying for a job and if you go to Naukri, you'll just see a vacancy and then you'll apply and you'll wait for a call. Or probably recruiters themselves will contact you if you're on Naukri. But LinkedIn is something, okay, LinkedIn also has the same features. You can go to vacancy and you can apply. But what many people don't realize or understand is, LinkedIn is not just a job hunting site, it's also a social media network. So even if you try to apply, especially if you are in India, there's a very less chance that you will get any opportunity through LinkedIn. The reason is majority of the recruiters in India, they use Naukri. They don't use LinkedIn. I mean, they will have an account on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn premium is very expensive. So no recruiter generally uses LinkedIn in India at least. Maybe in US it could be different. So that's why what people do is they come to LinkedIn, they'll search, they'll spend some time, and then they think that this entire site is scam, and then they will leave, thinking that this doesn't work. So if you treat a job hunting site as a job hunting site and use those strategies, it will 100% work for you. When you're on social media, which is I mean, primarily LinkedIn is more of a social media than a job hunting site. So if you treat LinkedIn as a social media and if you apply the right strategy, then everything will change. So when I say personal branding, when I use all this, I mean, when you hear all these fancy terms in very simple language, what it means is, let's say if I look at your profile, let's say if I go and visit your profile on LinkedIn. Now, as an outside person, I should immediately know where you will fit in a particular organization. So let's say if someone visits my profile, immediately they'll come to know that, okay, he is someone who is working in data field. Probably this guy will suit for a AI role. Immediately they'll come to know just by reading at the tagline, looking at my experience or posts or etc. Probably 3 years back, if they would have visited my profile, they'll immediately would have noticed, okay, probably I'm not into AI, I'm into BI, business intelligence. So it is all about like how you present yourself more than your degree or education or background, etc. Because if getting degree in data science is the only thing which can get you a job, then I would have never got a job in data. And I'm sure that there are many people who do not have any degree related to data science or anything, but still doing very well in those fields. Only reason is they have good network and they have good social media presence, and they also have very good, you can say, strategy in terms of how they are approaching. Now, for example, when we talk about personal branding or networking or anything for that matter, there is one golden rule you have to remember. It is always a two-way street. Okay. Now, again, let's go back to the interactions which we were having earlier. Okay. Let me ask you this question. Let's say you want to purchase something. So you searched in Amazon and you searched in Flipkart. Let's assume that you never had any bad experience with either of them. You had good experience with Flipkart and you had good experience with Amazon. Let's say I want to purchase a mobile. On Flipkart, it is showing 19,000 and on Amazon, it is showing 20,000. Free delivery, both of them. Terms and conditions, everything is same. Delivery time is also same. So which one will you pick?
We will pick in which the amount is less.
Exactly. So we'll pick the one in which amount is less. The person will only pick the higher price in case if they had bad experience with the other site. I mean, until and unless there is a bad experience or some unexpected thing, like maybe that particular color of the phone is not available or something like that, by default we always go for the lower price because that's a better deal. Now here also, when you talk about personal branding, networking, or all these fancy terms, it is always give and take. It's not a one way road. Like, why did you choose that seller or why did you choose that site? Because they were offering the product at a lower cost. So there is a benefit to you as a consumer in the form of discount. Now, seller is giving benefit, we don't know. Maybe he wants to increase his reputation, or maybe he purchased it in bulk amount. Maybe he has very big warehouse and he's able to reduce the cost. We don't know what is the reason. But it's a two-way street. He's offering something at a good price, and we are also happy with that offer, and we are purchasing it. It's a two-way road. Now, the minute you say 20,000 price and 19,000 price, the first question which will come to you is, okay, why should I spend 20,000 when I'm going to have no extra benefit? Now, let's say if I say, okay, if you purchase 20,000 rupees instead of 19,000, let's say I told you that you will get 5,000 worth of benefits. Again, you will only choose that 20,000 if those 5,000 worth of benefits are relevant to you. If those benefits are not relevant to you, then again you'll choose 19,000 only. Now the same thing happens when you talk about personal branding also. If someone has to follow you on social media, or let's say someone has to network with you, what is the benefit they are getting out of this? That is the first question you need to ask yourself. So, for example, when I was in college, I used to attend a lot of events. I mean, I used to just participate just to get good contacts, network, etc. So, whenever I used to participate, I used to, I mean, whenever people used to ask me, okay, why are you going and participating in all these events, etc. I mean, over weekends only. So, I used to tell that it is for network. So, one day, one of my faculty members came and said, okay, Sanjay, you are saying that you are doing this for networking and all. So, why do you think I mean, okay, you are going to a college, participating in a competition. Probably you're getting the numbers of those organizers or those people who are in college whom you met, and probably they might help you tomorrow in the placement. This is what your thought process is. Can you tell me one reason why they will get benefit out of this? Okay, you are going and meeting people so that you are expecting that maybe tomorrow it can help you in your placements or opportunities. But what benefit will they get from you? Okay, you are looking for that benefit. Okay, you are thinking that, okay, the more my network is, the more opportunities I'll get. But what is the other person? What benefit will they get? He asked. Suddenly, my mind went blank. Why? Because I could not give any answer. Like, I mean, why would anyone come to me or why would anyone be in touch with me? For what reason? Because we are talking, this is not something which is personal, this is professional. We are talking about professional networking. When you talk about a professional networking, obviously it's a give and take. So suddenly I could not give any kind of answer to that. Then I realized, okay, this is a very big mistake which I made because there is no USP for me. I mean, I am expecting something from others, but I am not able to offer anything from my side. So then I realized that why my networking or all whatever I'm doing is not working. Then what happened? When I went to LinkedIn, initially I was just observing everything. I was not doing anything which is like posting. I was not active. I was just a passive user, you can say. Then suddenly, one day I thought, okay, fine. I have very limited knowledge. So I have very limited idea about different subjects. I'm not a, you can say SME, subject matter expert. I don't have like 10 or 15 years of experience. Now, how can I benefit people who are on LinkedIn? Like, this is the question I asked myself. Then I thought, okay, maybe I'll host a webinar on teaching some Excel basics to college students for free. Probably I'll host a session talking about how to take a small project and tell people how to do hands-on. Again, nothing, no registration, no hidden charges, nothing. It is just free. Then I started doing that. The minute I started doing that, more and more people started connecting with me. Because I also used to tell very openly, I am doing this for networking. I am not doing this for any monetary purposes. Slowly, my network started growing and growing and growing. And finally, I reached, I got the top voice blue badge, which is on my LinkedIn. I'll just share my profile for those of you who are not aware. So that blue badge was also given to me. Now, here, if you ask me about numbers, 66,000 followers and all, that's all fine. I mean, on social media, there are accounts which have millions of followers. 66,000 is nothing. But the most important thing which I learned through my journey was your quality matters more than quantity. Now, I'll give you a very beautiful example for this. So, there is one college student who reached out. So, he was telling me that he could not find a job. Then I asked him, okay, fine, you are not able to find a job. Yes, the job market is very tough. I agree, everything is bad. And he prepared a very decent resume and he is hireable. His communication skills are also fine. I think I thought, okay, fine. Okay, maybe bad timing, something I thought. So I asked him, so what kind of things did you try to get a job? I asked. So he said, yeah, I tried to go to Internshala, I went to Naukri, I went to this, that, I applied, but no one, I did not get any response. I did not even get shortlisted. I did not get any interview calls. This is my situation, etc. etc. Everything he explained. I thought, okay, fine. It was very, okay, you tried everything. Then I asked him, okay, fine. Can you tell me like, uh, like, can you tell me more about your background? Then he told, okay, like, he's from so and so city, his family, so few things he told me. Then I asked him, okay, he's in seem to have come from a joint family. So I asked him, so you are going everywhere and asking all the strangers for a job opportunity. Why didn't you ask your relatives? Because I'm sure that maybe you may have cousins who are elder to you, probably working in some companies. Probably you may have some aunts and uncles who might be working in big positions, some senior positions. Why you haven't asked? Then suddenly his mind went blank. Like he was like, do you think I should ask like that? I said, yes, what is wrong? They are our family members, right? So they are, some of them share the same DNA and blood as well. So why can't you ask? Then he was like, no, I don't think they'll help me. Something he told. Then, I mean, if you think about this whole conversation, you may have 100 relatives, but if no one is ready to offer you help to give you a job, then there is no point of saying, okay, I have this much of big family, I have these many people. The same thing in social media also. You can always say, I have millions of followers, but are they going to help you when you are in the time of need? Again, professional help, nothing like personal help or asking for money or something like that. So here also it's the same thing which applies. You may have a social media account which will have only 500 followers, but if those people will help you to grow professionally, that is far better than having, you can say, like having 2 lakh 3 lakh people who are in your connections. That is the same thing which I follow, at least in my case. I don't see how many numbers and all, because numbers will keep growing. That will happen over a period of time. It's just a matter of whether it will happen in 10 days or 10 years. That's the only thing which matters. But at the end of the day, it's not the follower count. Are you really getting any value add from that? Value add in the sense on a professional ground. Because here we are not talking about emotions or sentiments or anything which is personal. Here we are talking about professional network here. Now, okay, you may say, but the title of the session says personal branding, then you're talking about professional. Now, the title may say personal branding. Personal branding in the sense you as an individual. I mean, that is the meaning in this context. Now, you as an individual, how you will position yourself in the market, and what benefit people will get out of you, and what benefit you will get out of other people professionally, how you will grow together as a team. So it's like a win-win situation, you can say. So that is something which you have to think along the lines. If you say that, okay, I want like 10,000 followers, but I don't have any reason why people should follow me, then you will never be able to grow much on LinkedIn or any other social media, because there is something which you have to offer. Now, what many people think is people should know some coding, or there should be something very extraordinary to get that followers on social media, something like that. I completely disagree to that. And a very good example for that is YouTube. You can see people doing farming having 1 lakh subscribers. You will see people just cooking food having 1 lakh subscribers. You will see people just doing makeup having 1 lakh subscribers. It is not just coding which can give you personal branding. That is a very big misconception which people have. You can do very simple things and you can still have very good follower count. You will find so many channels in YouTube where people do very ordinary things. Nothing you will see extraordinary, or they'll write something like a very complex piece of code, nothing. Very normal things they do, still they'll have many subscribers. The reason is it is more about like what you can offer to people, to your audience. Like for example, if I write a very complex code and if I put it on LinkedIn, let's say if audience cannot understand what I wrote, even if I wrote, even if I write world class code, it will still never get engagement. Why? Because even the audience should be able to relate to what you have written, right? So that is also very important. Even when you do any post, it should be something which is relatable to maximum crowd. If you write a post which is very obscure, which is something only experts can understand, then your engagement will always be down. So if you look at a lot of people, it's not like people are dumb and posting very simple things. People can post very complex things, but still they refuse to do that because it doesn't work on social media platform. That's why people keep posting very normal things, very generic things. Because the minute people start posting something complex, people will start running away. And that is and the reason why I brought this topic is many people, when I talk about personal branding, LinkedIn and all, the number one thing which people people tell me is, oh Sanjay, I'm not expert in anything. I cannot write complex codes or I cannot do anything very big. For that, I have given you this example or this counter. Just to tell that you don't have to be very complex in terms of your understanding. If you write something very complex, I'm very sure that you will not get much engagement. Probably you can reserve that to a blog. Probably you can write it in a blog, but in social media setting, it will not work. For example, when I was in engineering, there was a research paper which was published and it was Scopus Index. It's a very decent thing which is there. Scopus Index, if you say, people will come to know, those who have PhD background and all. Now, I don't come and publish that paper on LinkedIn. Why? Because people should understand that that is something related to antennas, that is something related to communication, that is having, I mean, it's a very complex thing. You'll use some software called HFSS. It's very complex. Even if I post on LinkedIn, I'm sure only 5 or 10 people will like. So what did I do? I just kept a link there. People who are interested, probably they'll go and read that research paper and do something about it. Now here also in social media, those are few things you have to keep in mind. The based on the platform, your strategy should be there. For example, there are few people who will think that, okay, like some people, what they say is, okay, every day go to LinkedIn and make a post at 10 a.m. and keep doing it for 30 days. They'll say it's a 30 days challenge. Some people say it's a 90 days challenge. Now, lot of challenges run on social media. But what I feel about these challenges is, are you posting just for the sake of posting? Or are you actually posting something to share some knowledge? Like what will happen is, if you take a 30-day challenge, even if your mind is empty, you will just post something just for the sake of posting. Yes, you will get engagement. People will like, people will follow, some engagement you will get. But at the end of the day, is it fulfilling your purpose? Are you happy with that? So if you gain happiness by seeing the number of count of followers or engagement, probably you can do that because you want to see more numbers. But if that is not your primary goal, if your goal is to engage with people, talk to people, have good sessions, have collaboration, if that is your goal, then doing this 30, 60, 90-day challenge is not really going to help you. And another thing which people say is, okay, but I'm not very good at writing skills. I'm not good at, I mean, I know we can do chat GPT, but still I don't know what to post, etc., etc. People will think. Now I'll give you a very good example. When I was starting LinkedIn, I had the same dilemma. Like, what can I actually post? So luckily now chat GPT is there. Earlier there was no chat GPT. There were AI tools, but nothing close to chat GPT. So when I had this question, one of my mentors told me a very simple thing. Let's say you're studying 10th class. Can you teach a 6th class student? Answer is yes. Now here also it's the same. Let's say you're a second year MBA student. You can always teach first year MBA student who is a junior. The same logic applies for BCom, engineering, whatever. Let's say you're a third year BCom student. You can always teach a first year BCom student. Okay, you're a BCom first year student. You can always teach a 11th class student because you're more senior. Now the same thing applies here also. So let's say you're someone who is studying engineering. Let's say you're studying first year. You don't know anything. You don't know coding, nothing you know. You can always post about your entrance exam experience. Probably the mistakes you made while you're writing those entrance exams. Probably you can write about the mistakes and probably you can write about the strategy. For example, let's say you're studying in some private college. Probably you can talk about, okay, how to choose your branch, or probably how to, I mean, which subjects are important in 12th class, which will be considered for your counseling session, probably when you go for a college. Yes, you're a first year engineering student, you don't know anything, but still you can add a lot of values and insights to people who are studying 10th class and 12th class. Just go to YouTube and see. So many channels you will find about IIT JEE. Just go to probably Instagram or you go to any other website. You will find so many channels talking about 8th class, 9th class, 10th class content. And even if you go to like not just India, if you go to like US, lot of channels they talk about productivity or study tips for high school students. Very good channels are there. So it is not about like what you're studying, how much experience you have. This all used to matter probably before the age of social media. Now we are in a social media, and social media is free to use as long as you have an internet connection. Now what you can do is you just have to think where you can add value. Okay, all of us have very little knowledge. We are not have, I mean, we are not like that. I mean, we are not in 40s or 50s, but still we can still add a lot of value to people who are about to travel the same journey which we already traveled. So if you are thinking that your experience matters or your age matters or anything, as long as you are humble and you are honest and transparent, you can always share your wisdom. Always you can talk about your mistakes also. You can see many posts which I made on LinkedIn where I talk about my mistakes. For example, once I made a post about my MBA journey where I made some mistakes. So I talked about it. Okay, if you are an MBA student, don't make this mistake. I mean, that was the conclusion of the post. So you don't have to write only positive things. You can even write negative things. You can always share that, share those thoughts. And in the world of AI, now another question which comes is, okay, today everything is taken over by AI. Now you can easily go and go to Chat GPT and generate some insights. Then what about me? Like, do you think we can still thrive with all this AI thing coming up everywhere? I'll just give you one example. Okay, let's say there is a movie which gets released, or let's say there is a smartphone which gets released. Even before we buy a movie ticket or we purchase the smartphone, we'll definitely either we'll ask our friends or family members who has already seen the movie, or we'll go and see the reviews if that is not the case. And I'm very sure that before you made a purchase, you haven't read only one review. I'm sure that you might have spent a lot of time going through different reviews, reading different opinions, scrolling down on the e-commerce website, seeing the reviews. Maybe you went to Book My Show, you might have went to Google reviews. I'm sure that you might have spent a lot of time reading the I mean watching the comparison videos and everything. Why? Because opinions matter. You may think, okay, I mean, why will anyone care about my opinion? Yes, I mean, you can always belittle yourself. You can always think, okay, how does it matter? But opinion is still an opinion. It's a unique view. Like, for example, you and me can watch the both movies, and you and me can watch the same movie. And let's say we come out of, I mean, we go to the same movie, same theater, same show. And when we come out of the movie, and let's say someone gives laptop to both of us, put us in two different rooms, and if they ask us, can you share few words about this movie, like 100 words about this movie, your words and my words will be completely different. Why? Because it's subjective. My opinion will be different, your opinion will be different. You may say, okay, this movie is 5 out of 5 for me. I may say, okay, this movie is 2 out of 5 for me. There is no rule that everyone has to give the same review, right? I mean, every review means it is subjective. Everyone has their own opinion. There is no guarantee that what you like will be different from what others will like. It can be same or it can be different. Now, if you go and see lot of YouTube channels, people give movie reviews. They just go watch a movie. Of course, they'll put some effort. They'll try to analyze everything, different aspects, like technical aspects, non-technical aspects, everything, and then they will talk about a particular movie, like how it is and all. And in the comment section, you will always see there's a fight which happens. The reviewer will say movie is good, but in comments they'll say no, this is a bad movie. Sometimes it's reverse also, which happens. And in social media, the number one thing you have to remember is you cannot make everyone happy. That is the number one rule you have to remember. One of the toughest things which you will learn about social media is you want everyone to be happy. You don't want someone to disagree with you, but that is never going to happen. Now, I'll give you a very good example for this. For example, let's say if I ask you, I mean, again, the same example. Let's say you're using a phone. You will give one review. The same phone someone will be using, I'll ask them for a review. Your ratings will be different. However, let's say you have 1 lakh reviews. Let's say for a particular phone, if you aggregate all the 1 lakh reviews, you are getting 4-star average. Let's say there is another phone. Again, if you aggregate everything, let's say your average rating is only 3 stars, 4-star and 3-star. Here, what you have to understand is even the mobile which has 3 stars, someone might have given 5-star review and someone would have given 1-star review. That's why it is 3-star. Even for a 4-star phone, some people might have given 5 stars, some people might have given 1-star. The only difference is how many people have given 1-star, 2-star, that will be different. But you'll always find both phones will have 5 stars, both phones will have 1-star. It is only the proportion which will change, right? For example, there might be one phone which will be given 1 star, 2 star left and right. But you may give a 5 star, maybe because you may like that phone at that particular budget, maybe your expectations were low, whatever reason. So one of the things what people do is they get into FOMO. Like they'll think that, okay, I should always follow this trend. If everyone is writing about AI, I also should write about AI. If everyone is saying this movie is good, probably I also should say movie is good. In social media, the funny thing is you should always make sure that you don't get into FOMO, because social media is the one which gives us FOMO. Now think about this situation. Today I opened my LinkedIn. I mean, 1 week back, I opened my LinkedIn. I saw one post on this new style which has come, right? The animation style, ChatGPT, the Japanese one. I saw one post. Then I scrolled down. Another post I saw. Another post I saw. Another post. Everyone was posting about the same topic. Okay, probably when I open my feed, first 5 posts I'll read. Probably what they wrote and everything. After a while, what happens? It becomes boring because everyone is repeating the same point in a different way. You'll get bored of that topic in the first place. So what people will think? People want variety. Okay, if 5 people are making a post about Chat GPT, probably you can make a post which is something different. Because how many times will people read the same Chat GPT post? How many people will read about Ghibli? How many people will keep on saying the same and same thing? So again, there is no rule that you have to always post the top popular topics, because if you generally take any social media class or digital marketing class, what people say is, okay, go and do some trending topics. Okay, go and do some topics which are like popular. Just go to YouTube, go to AdWords, Google AdWords, and see which topics are trending, or probably go to Twitter, see which hashtags are trending, and go and do it. Now that is a good strategy if you are probably running a marketing firm, or let's say if you're doing digital marketing where your numbers matter. If you're running a digital marketing firm, the more numbers you see, the more income you learn. But if you are using social media for personal reasons, not for business or monetary purposes, if you are using it for your satisfaction and for your networking, something at a long term vision, so then in that particular case, all these tips and tricks they'll not follow. All these tips and tricks which people talk in terms of digital marketing, AdWords, and all these things, they all work if you are talking about running a business. But if you are seeing something which is long term, where you are trying to see a compounding benefit, you should stick with your common sense. You should not go with FOMO. You should not just blindly go and just follow a particular trend. And you will especially see that with my account. Sometimes I don't post a topic which is like too popular. You will never see anything which I made on Ghibli style. You will not see anything which I made on COVID-19. Like, for example, during COVID, everyone used to make one project, say that this is COVID-19 dashboard. If you actually go to my dashboards, which I posted probably 4 5 years back, that project itself you will not see. Why? Because people get tired after seeing 2 3 posts. So again, in social media, there are two ways. Either you can go with a very popular trend, go with a trending topic, or you can completely go with a completely different niche topic, and still you can still gain good followers or popularity or whatever you are looking for. So at the end of the day, if you try to look at this entire thing, I mean, if you go and take a course on personal branding, or if you overthink about it, you will never be able to take your first step. You can always start in a very light tone. The worst thing what will happen, someone will say your post is bad. Beyond that, no one will say anything, right? So that's the worst thing which can happen. So you have to keep a very open set of mind. Don't get carried by FOMO. Don't get into these, the silly courses which they sell for you for 2000 rupees or 500 rupees. Just stick with strong fundamentals, and probably whatever I told you till now. What benefit will people get from your content? If you keep this one question in mind, automatically your journey will get started. It doesn't matter. It can be LinkedIn, it can be Instagram, it can be any other website for that matter. So that is something which you have to see on a long term, right? So that is about personal branding. So now you can ask any questions which you have.
So, Sanjay, what is the best way to gain followers? So, I've been trying for like 6 months. One of my
Hmm.
friends did for 7 8 months, and they said we have gathered up to 2,000 followers. They are genuine followers. I mean, they have interacted with my mail, my post, but beyond that, I'm not able to get any. Why is that? Because during COVID times, I was able to easily get followers.
One of the reasons is during COVID, people were working from home and people were spending more time online. Now, offline activities have increased. Back to office, like a lot of initiatives happened. Probably less activity will be there. That's the domino effect. Overhiring happened, layoffs are happening, a lot of things are happening. But when we talk about genuine followers and why the followers are increasing or not increasing, probably I think there could be, if I have to, there could be many reasons. If I have to say top three reasons, one reason could be maybe you're writing about something like a niche topic where only few people are interested. So that could be one reason. Second reason could be maybe when sometimes what happens is there is something called shadow ban, which happens on social media. Sometimes the algorithms can have a false positive, and they will think that probably you're using some bots or some kind of thing to artificially increase your metrics, and they may do a shadow ban. It happened to me once on LinkedIn, even though I didn't do anything. So by mistake, it happened. So suddenly my post stopped getting likes. There were like zero likes.
Oh.
There is not even a five likes. I know that even if my content is very bad, I know for a fact that at least I'll get 10 likes or 20 likes or 50 likes. But it was so bad that there was zero engagement. Then I went to Twitter, tagged LinkedIn, and when I asked them, then they rectified it and then they removed that shadow ban and everything back to normal. Shadow ban can be second reason. Third reason, which I can see, is sometimes, the shadow ban. One more thing which I want to tell is if you write anything controversial, sometimes, let's say, if you talk about any political topic, because every social media has some blacklisted words. If you try to use too much of those words or something like that, that could also be the reason why this ban can happen by mistake, intentionally or unintentionally. It could happen. Now the third reason could be generally what happens is these algorithms, when they work on social media, I think this is something which you will observe very much on both on social media sites, even on YouTube also. You will subscribe to one particular channel. So after a particular set of days, you will actually not find that particular those particular videos from that content creator too much. Probably out of 100, probably if you scroll let's say let's say if you scroll for 1 minute, maybe you'll find only one video. Maybe in the beginning it might keep on showing you that recommendation. So probably it could be, maybe there is no monetization with that account. Sometimes the accounts, what they will do is they'll have this marketing agencies which will artificially boost their this thing. But if the follower count is not increasing, the reason could also be that maybe the it has reached a saturation point. Like for example, when I was writing about BI, business intelligence, after a certain period, I found that it is no longer giving the same engagement. I'll also tell you why. What I mean by saturation. If you take YouTube as an example, not YouTube or Reddit or even something as an example, what social media will do is for certain topics they'll give you more money. For certain topics they'll give you less money. If the topic is niche, they'll give you more money. If the topic is very popular, they'll give you less money. Why? Because they want their social media site or their or their channels to have more diversity. So it is like search pricing, how we do it in caps. They will try to prioritize it. Sometimes what happens, one mistake happened with Instagram algorithm, and one day it was showing all violent content. So here also it's the same thing. Sometimes that particular topic which you are writing may have maybe the social media might have detected that it's no longer the hot cake, it's no longer the top topic, and they may actually tweak their algorithm, which will not give you the same number of likes and engagement. Then they'll shift that topic to something else. That could also be the reason.
Thank you, Sanjay, for this elaborate explanation. I had one more question. So, let's say somebody is a COE member and they have done Power BI. Alteryx, SQL, Excel. These four things they know well, and they have done basics of artificial intelligence as well. They've cleared AI 900, and they've been writing articles because they are happy with how the COE leads are writing the articles as well. And they have also been, one or two top voice when it was there. They have also been that. Now, the challenge is, how do I find, if you can give me couple examples of niche articles, what kind of articles such a data analyst or a financial analyst could write about? So give me two examples, because I know, Sanjay, when I have been noticing your articles, they are pretty unique in the sense that you don't cut and paste from elsewhere. What you have done in most of your articles is you have you have you have a personal, like, you would write about lessons learned from my experience. So you make it very personal, as well as you write about something of value. So I would like to have couple examples for people which they can write about.
Uh, Yes, yes, definitely. I mean, so first thing which I suggest is to have this portfolio, like a link, maybe a blog or a website like Novi Pro or anything for that matter, depending on the tool which you are using. If you are using Tableau, then it's Tableau Public. Power BI means Novi Pro. If you are doing Python codes, GitHub is probably the best, etc. Now, when we talk about LinkedIn, generally one mistake which I find what people do is if you go too technical, it will just go above the head of everyone. I mean, people are not going to even read because how many people, let's say if we take 100 people in a population, out of those 100 people, how many people will understand Python or Power BI? Very less people will understand. Rather, what the content should be is, let's say if you have done a project, write about that project in layman terms in your LinkedIn post. And probably in comments, you can say, if you want to see the detailed code or if you want to see more details about this, go to this particular link. So in LinkedIn, what you have to do is you have to do the storytelling. Storytelling means, okay, why did you do this project? What you found very interesting about this project? What are some insights you got out of this? What challenges did you find while doing this project? And how did you overcome those challenges? That is what people look for. And if people really want to get into details, they can always go to that particular link which you have given, probably in the comment section, and then they can read your detailed blog or whatever links you have shared. But generally, sometimes what happens is people go too technical. People write so much of technical jargon that people just by looking at the post, people okay, I cannot go through this entire thing, and then they will leave. So that is a big turn off for many people. And when it comes to topics also, for example, okay, if I have to take one particular example and talk about it, okay, let's say I learned Alteryx. Now I have built a workflow. Fine. Now that workflow and all, maybe for a technical person, that person can understand. For a layman, that person will see some connections, some components, nothing beyond. Now for a layman, what I need the end application. Okay. Let's say I have 100 Excel files, and with Alteryx workflow, I just combined all the 100 Excel files with one click of a button. Now let's say if I'm a finance guy, or let's say if I'm a marketing guy, going through your feed. Now let's say I want to hire a person who is good in automation, and I'm a finance person, I don't know how to do coding. Let's say if the person posts something about Alteryx, some technical things, maybe another Alteryx developer will appreciate it. Why? Because one Alteryx developer can understand another Alteryx developer. But a hiring manager or a finance person or a marketing person will never come and appreciate. So no finance person will come and say, oh, what a beautiful line of code you have written. Probably if you write a Python code, maybe an engineering, you can say engineering faculty who is working in computer science department, or probably another data scientist will come and appreciate. But if a hiring manager has to come and appreciate your content, you have to keep reverse. You have to tell what is the application, what is the end output, what you can build. So probably instead of writing Alteryx and going into technical details, probably you can record 1 minute video saying that with one click of a button, these all Excel files, each Excel file having 100 MB, got merged into 100 different sheets within 30 seconds of time. Earlier, this entire process, if you want to do manually, let's say it is taking 5 hours. Like that, if you keep posting, people will get interested. So let's say they find one post interesting, they'll go into your profile, they'll go to your history, then they'll see all the use cases you have built. Okay, one use case for PDFs, one use case for SAP, maybe one use case for some other, let's say Power BI automation, Power BI to PowerPoint, something like that. Then they'll get interested and then they will probably contact you to hire you. If you simply go and keep writing technical content, that is very good content to write in medium.com, or probably towards data science. In those sites, you can write full context. You can give screenshots and everything. But for a social media platform like LinkedIn, keep it as simple as possible and give a hyperlink. That will be my strategy.
Thank you, Sanjay. That was very useful. It brings it. I have one more question which I got from the audience last time, and I would love to ask that. So, you and other leads like Prem Sai, Akriti, and many other people, whenever we have had this kind of a seminar, we have been asked by people if we should be consistent on LinkedIn in posting on LinkedIn, like we should add value, is the message given by most of the leads. Now, our problem is the problem of a typical student or a COE member or a non-COE member is that when they hear a seminar on a Saturday or Sunday, they are very excited that day. That night, they will write one article, but then on the social media or on the television, they will hear about Trump introducing tariff, India suffering, other countries suffering because of the tariffs, some battle happening, somebody talking about Aurangzeb, somebody talking about somebody else. So because of all these things, it develops uncertainties in the mind of people, and they are very worried. Well, all this is happening in the market. Stock market is crashing 10% down. Now, why should I be consistent on LinkedIn? So, can you help understand why this consistency is still important and why we cannot control all these other things, but we should be consistent?
Actually, that's a very good question. I wanted to cover this point, but again, I thought it will be out of topic. Okay, one point which I want to add to what you already said was, so I was just talking to the one of my college faculty, and he's someone who is like a tech, I mean, my engineering college faculty. He is also someone who conducts trainings, workshops for the corporates and everything. I mean, the faculty development workshops, few things. He's like a consultant also. So when I was talking to that person, he was telling that the entire coaching industry is down, like no one is upskilling, etc., etc. I was telling. I said, I mean, why? What could be the reason? Then he said, I mean, you already know market is down. No one wants to learn anything. Like since the market is down, they feel that even if they learn something, it's of no use because the hiring and everything, the freeze is happening, layoffs are happening, etc., etc. So when I was having this conversation, it was what I felt was it is actually the backward thinking, I would say. For example, Trump has announced tariffs. So I have a flatmate who, like, I have two flatmates here. So one flatmate, okay, he doesn't bother. He doesn't read. I mean, he doesn't follow politics. He doesn't follow stock market. Nothing. He's like he's in his own world. Now I have another flatmate. So he's like Trump news has come. So someone who is interested in economics, I was just discussing the topic. Then he said, "Oh, this is very good news. Markets are crashing. Probably this is the best time to invest because now there is a dip in the market. Probably I have to invest in the right now so that it will increase." He invested. I think some 2 lakh rupees he has invested, and immediately markets went up after the pause got announced. So then I realized, okay, so look at the reaction. One person, when the stock market is down, he's very happy and he invested. Another person is like, he doesn't care. And then there is another person who is panicking. Okay, what is happening in the market now? And I have another friend who is like, oh, I'm very happy, he said. I said, why you are happy when stock market is falling? He said, definitely house prices, everything will come down. Probably I'll go and purchase a flat at low rate of interest. Interest rates also will go down to boost the economy, something like that. Then I was like, okay, fine. I mean, I understood the diversity of thought. Okay, this is how people can think in different ways. Okay, now coming back to the answer to this particular question. When we talk about all this negative news which is happening, personally, if you ask me, when the market is down is the actual time where you need to actually start thinking where to invest, how to upskill. You have to take most important decisions when the market is down. Because once the market is down, definitely government intervention, something will happen to bring the market up. Definitely it will happen. Any government or any central bank which is there, who has a sensible person sitting there, will always do this. They'll always revive the economy, no matter what. Only when the market is down, you have to actually focus and start something. That is, at least in my life, whatever I started in my life, whether it is LinkedIn or my upskilling or anything, it happened during the worst time of the market. By the time markets went up, by the time the recovery happened, it was actually the best time where I was ready to get onto that market. For example, when I was upskilling in Power BI, there were hiring freezes. I mean, COVID was there, boom happened, but boom happened later. 1 year later, it happened. When I was upskilling, when I decided to pay the, I mean, when I decided to look at the market landscape and decided that, okay, I'll learn Power BI, it was worst. There were no openings. Everyone said, okay, what is this job market? There was negativity everywhere. Every day you open newspaper, you will see how many people died because of COVID, how much stock market has crashed, how companies are laying off people in ruthless ways, and how the labor market got affected. So, etc., because of lockdown, everything was negative. So like my friends who are there, some people were like, okay, I'll stop preparing for placements, I'll start preparing for government jobs. Some people are like, no, I don't know what to do at this point of time. Some people were just like watching some movies, Netflix. Anyway, they're staying at home, probably that is the best way to reduce the stress. Different ways people reacted. So when I was upskilling in Power BI, I was just focusing on that. By the time market came up, I mean, by the time market started recovering, I was 100% ready for the job market. I started getting multiple interview calls. So this is probably the number one mistake what people do. What people do is when the market is booming, they'll go and upskill. The minute market is booming, there will be one time where the bubble will burst and market will come down. When the market goes down, again people will stop. Actually, the best time is the opposite. Whenever market is down, that's where you have to invest. That's where you have to start upskilling so that by the time market comes up, you're ready. And this you can observe this pattern everywhere. Even if you go back and see, a lot of people made fortune when they invested in markets when they are down. And a lot of people upskilled when the market is down. If you see the entire boom period which happened after COVID, like all these coachings, courses, everything, if you see, most people upskilled during the low time. By the time the market got up, it is like a gold mine. So that is probably how I would describe it.
Sanjay, you yourself are a very good writer, and many of your posts have been really appreciated by both COE members and outside globally. So, I I will ask you a personal question. The
Okay.
so 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 can you suggest names of few people whose post you have liked? Because I'm sure you would have liked many people globally, or many people within our COE leads. Could you give us some examples? For example, you had once mentioned about Disha Avatani, who's just an intern at that point. You had also mentioned about Akriti, who has been writing very good articles as a
Yeah.
financial analyst. So other than these two, you can give these examples once again to the new audience, and also suggest us maybe three or four people. We don't have time for everybody, but if you had to highlight three or four people in general whom you remember, whom you recall, that their posts are usually very good, whom would you recommend?
Mm. Yeah, I think Muskan is very active. She posts. I mean, I mean, there are serious posts. There are also humorous posts. It's a mix of everything. Her posts are there.
Is it
I
is it
remember
is it
every time
possible
her
for
posts will appear on my feed. Huh?
is it possible for one of the admins or somebody to kind of show that on the screen while you name them?
Huh, okay. Anyone sharing the screen?
Can I try, Sanjay?
Hello?
We are lucky to have Antish Kumar here today, who can share his screen, or Akriti can share the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, so give me a second.
Hmm. Yes, we can see your screen.
Sure, sure.
Yes.
Yes,
I mean,
everyone.
I'm not sure if some few people, I'm not sure if they're still part of COE. There is one more person, Munna Das. He writes about data engineering. I think in the beginning he used to be there, but now I'm not sure if he's even there. He's a long time guy. I mean, last 4 years he has been writing. And another person whose posts I used to like is Disha Utani. I think she's not posting these days, but a few months she has posted. It was very insight. She's a fresher actually. I think a lot of people will be able to relate to Disha more than anyone because she is a fresher and she was still studying in college while writing those posts.
Akriti, I can see yours, but I don't see Disha Avatani's. Can you?
No, spelling AW, I think.
And then Sanjay can recommend some
I
others,
think
global
spelling
global
mistake.
leaders or
T A
something.
N TAN. It is written TAR. Huh.
This one, right?
Yes. Okay. Okay, now when it comes to the global, like the audience whom I follow, again, it depends on the interests. Like everyone has like different interests. When I talk about Power BI very specifically, I mean, I'm going to give two names. I'm sure whoever is in Power BI will recognize Marco Russo and Alberto Ferrari. So Marco Russo is very active. Marco Russo.
Yes, Sanjay, I remember you were named one of the top.
MARCO. Huh?
Yeah, Sanjay, you were named one of the top 25 or 30 people in the world of. You were one of the. You are still one of the top voices, and there were some other people who were named along with you. I think there's a guy in a cube or something.
Yes. So Guy in the Cube. I mean, Guy in the Cube is less active on LinkedIn, but on YouTube he's very active. No,
Got you.
not this. I gave in the chat box. You can copy paste.
Yeah.
1 second, wait. I think I have sent. So I'm typing. Now you can type. Yeah. Marco Russo. Yes.
The first one.
Yes. Marco Russo is very good. He's very famous in SQL BI, and even the Trezor ad is also good. Trezor is also good. Brain Julius is also good. On the right side, you have all these names. These are all in Power BI community outside of India. Trezor above Brain Julius. They're only on the right side. Okay. There are many people like this. I think probably on YouTube you'll find more. On YouTube you have Guy in a Cube. And there is also one blog which is run by Chris Webb, if I'm not wrong. Chris Webb or Chris Weber. He runs a blog on Power Query. And then there is one more person called Chandu.
Mhm.
He used to post a lot on Excel, but now he's posting on Power BI as well. Chandu.org, but he has YouTube. On YouTube, he's more active. Chandu. Yeah, that is the one. But he used to be very famous on Excel and financial modeling, but recently he started posting on Power BI. Very long time guy. I mean, he has been active for the last 15 years.
Got it.
And apart from that, I also follow this. I mean, I also follow like different topics like Mark Randolph is very good. He's Netflix co-founder. Very nice posts he makes. And then there is also one more person. He's IPS officer, Rajan Singh. I see. He also I follow. But these are all general guys, not nothing related to Power BI or analytics. Then you also have on data science and AI side, if you see, there are a few people who are like regularly posting. One is uh, Rajan Singh. Yes, he is. He again general posts mostly about productivity and other things, not technical but very decent content. I mean, finance. I think many of you already know. Many people already follow Akshat Srivastav. He will be the first guy, obviously. But these days, I mean, I used to follow earlier a lot, but not second one, not first. Huh. I mean, he's again, I think, yeah, on LinkedIn also is active, on YouTube also is active, both. This is personal finance, I would say, not
So,
corporate.
so Sanjay, from your words, one of the lessons I'm learning is, if I was a new student, I'm learning that one should try to follow. Let's say my specialization is X, Y, Z, and M and A, B, C. I should try to at least follow 10 top influencers or 10 top voices in the field that I'm interested in, so that I can learn
Yes.
more and more.
Yes, and one suggestion which I would like to also give is, for example, yes, we have to follow people in that particular field, definitely yes. And apart from that, one more suggestion which I have for people, especially who are just getting their career started or someone with less than 5 years of experience is, in whichever organization you're working, please do follow the leadership team, like the CEO or the CFO or the country leadership, whoever it is. Because these days, I mean, earlier, very rarely people used to post things. But at least in the last 5, 10 years, even a lot of company leaders also, they are very active on LinkedIn and they post very, very decent insights like what's happening with the company, what they are thinking, they are sharing their thoughts, etc. Because one thing which I find lacking in many people is, for example, I mean, I know different people are working in different organizations. For example, if you ask, okay, who is the CEO or CFO of Indian division of your company, or who is the global CEO or CFO, or how the organization is structured, etc., etc., people are not able to answer. People are just focused on coding and they are missing the big picture. So definitely, I will encourage people to think on a very higher level as well. I mean, from the beginning of their career, not just focused only on their desk, just focusing only on that particular code. I don't know if that made sense.
Yes, it does. Sanjay, one of the things that people do is they go to a particular post of
Hmm.
anybody, some HR or some leader or some of the names that you recommended. And all that we do is we just say like, I
Ah,
like. They press the like, but nobody
yes.
writes a meaningful comment. So can you
Exactly.
elaborate on how do I write a meaningful comment? Let's say I've read a post of Mark Russo, or I've read a
Yeah.
post of Akriti. Can open up any one of her posts, or you
Yeah.
can open up any one of your posts. And if you look through the comment section, maybe you received 10 comments, or maybe you received
Yes.
100 comments, but there are only two that you appreciated. So can you
Yeah.
give your own example where if you look at a comment on the post, you appreciated couple people more than others. Of course, we like everybody, but couple people stand out. How do they stand out? How? What is an example of a meaningful comment to the post?
In this particular case, unfortunately, with an example, difficult to give because very rarely I see good comments, if you say from a post point of view. But I would definitely say that yes, commenting is one way to definitely stand out. Even if you are not posting any content, but if you are adding a meaningful comment to very good posts, that will definitely add a lot of value to the post. And also, there's a very good chance that that person might interact with you in the comment section. Like if you add something like very nice point. But yeah, definitely, when you talk in terms of numbers, many people are like either they write generic comments or they don't comment at all or they don't engage much beyond that. And in fact, if you ask me, just people read the headline and probably they will see that picture or PDF, whatever. People don't even read the post. Yeah. Sometimes I see people not even reading the post and commenting, unfortunately.
If there is anybody alive in the audience who's not shy to ask questions, I would encourage them to go ahead and ask some questions from Sanjay, because whenever he brings a topic, or he's sharing his thoughts, they're very, very important. He's been in the industry a long time as a leader. So I would encourage people to go ahead and ask their question now.
Hi Sanjay, Umesh here from Mumbai.
Hey,
I
hello,
have
Mesh.
questions. Hello, you can hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
So last 1 month, I'm consistent posting on LinkedIn about the finance and microeconomics and global economics. But before posting, I had to read a lot. So on that basis, I put around 2 paragraphs on the LinkedIn. So
Hmm.
I did only 10 days. After that, that got uh, I'm not able to post anything because of the workload and some other factors. So how I can be the consistent, read uh, a small amount of information and post consistently.
Hmm. See, what I will suggest is, see, I mean, one question is I understood consistency. What about engagement? Are you also looking for to increase that engagement or only about consistency you want to talk about?
Only for consistent, I'm talking about, not for the engagement.
Okay, okay, fine. See, when it comes to consistency, what I found was, okay, for me, if I have to be like totally honest and talk about consistency, so I was off from social media, I would say close to around because see, I don't have any I mean, I never had Instagram, Snapchat, nothing, none of the social media sites I was using. I was using only WhatsApp, probably YouTube if you consider that as social media platform, and probably LinkedIn. I had a Facebook account, but very rarely I used to use. So for almost 10 years, I was inactive on social media. I mean, from 2010 to 2020, you can say. Probably 2021, you can say. 2011 to 2021. Almost for 10 years, I was very less active on social media. Maybe here and there, few spikes you will see. Beyond that, nothing significant. So again, after coming back to social media, mainstream social media after 10 years, I was like new. I mean, I didn't even know that Facebook had these reaction buttons and everything. When I was using, it
Mhm.
was just a like button which used to be there. And Instagram, everything, nothing I had. So when I first joined my MBA, everyone was asking, what is your Instagram ID and everything. Finally, one of my friend created my Instagram account, if I'm not wrong. So what happened was, lot of thoughts which I had, I was only talking face to face to people. On social media, I had nothing. So it was like accumulation of thoughts after thoughts after thoughts. Like so many things were in my mind, but I mean, some people what they do is they'll just write in their diary or probably in a journal, something they will do. I did not have any journal habit or something like that. So lot of thoughts were in my mind, but I really want to get these thoughts out. So that was the time where I actually started LinkedIn. So for me, how it used to be is I want to express 1,000 ideas, but I cannot make 1,000 posts in one day. So I can only make one post. So I was like
Exactly.
bottled up, you can say, with lot of thoughts and ideas, and that's how I got started. Now today, if you see
Okay.
my LinkedIn, I was not at all active. If you look at my last 6 months history, probably I would have
Mhm.
made less than 20 posts, not more than that. When I first began, I used to post almost sometimes morning ones and evening ones. I used to just have those pasted in my notepad, and then I used
Mhm.
to just post them when the time used to come. Like a reminder, I used to set and I used to post because for me, I wanted to get out of all these thoughts and all. It took me almost, I think, almost close to 2 years to completely empty my mind, empty or reach a normal level. So that was the context, and that is the reason why I was consistent. But because that's what I was telling earlier also. There are two
Mhm.
things. One is posting just for the sake of posting is one thing.
Mhm.
Second is
Mhm.
you have so many thoughts that you don't know what to post first. And
Correct.
probably I think if you want to get into that mindset, what I will suggest is the best way
Mhm.
to get ideas is to read books. At least in my case, it is always books, blogs, books, whatever you call it, but books will be my first preference. And again, I don't like to go into books which are like too technical, something which is like good enough for a normal person to understand. And second thing is when it comes to topics also. Like for example, when I first started, I was posting about Excel, then Power BI, then general topics. Then few days I posted about
Okay.
like on the portfolio side. Few days I posted about resume optimization, LinkedIn, etc. So even when it comes to topics also, whenever I reach a saturation, I'll try to switch the topic. And now, if you see recently from the last few posts, if you see, it is a mix of general topics and AI. It's a mix of both, you can
Mhm.
say.
Yes, yes, yes.
So for consistency, I really don't have an answer because, but one suggestion which I can give you is whenever
Uh,
you get any thoughts, you can just put those thoughts in your notepad, probably in your cell phone,
okay.
so that later you can develop those thoughts when you have free time. Probably you can sit down and articulate a post. But
Okay.
because the reason why I'm saying this because sometimes suddenly, let's say you're traveling and you'll get an idea, and then
Mhm.
you'll forget. It'll never cross your mind again until some
Uh,
random day. So what I do is I'll maintain a notepad, I mean in that notes application which is there in my phone, and I'll keep
mhm.
writing just keywords. What I feel, one sentence
Okay.
or a keyword, and later I'll develop.
Sanjay, we are
Mhm.
lucky to have one person with us today. His name is Nilay Mukhopadhyay.
Hey
Nilay,
Nilay.
Nilay, good morning or Nilay, Nilay, are you
Hi.
Yes,
here?
good morning. Good
So,
morning. Good
Nilay,
morning.
I would like you to share your own thoughts because you have been our Kolkata lead and you have been very active in Chennai as well. With your experiences of last few years, can you share what if you have any tips for LinkedIn? Because you have been a great voice in the COE, and some of your posts I've liked a lot, especially when you before you went to Sweden, you've traveled globally, you came back, you wrote some really good posts. So can you offer any one or two tips that you have followed, or one or two people that you like on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I like first my mentor is Sanjay. So when I started following his posts, and then I get into the P2P, and P2P becomes a COE, and that's a long story. But the thing is, I don't post frequently. I post only those things which is actually a lot of people struggling. Like if you're if you're doing everything right but you are not getting a job, so what's the reason behind it? So I don't like to cover like whatever I'm learning, I'm just posting. I don't post like that to get followers or something. I genuinely post something which I will require to remember, like let's say I'm struggling, I'm stuck in a problem, and I posted that on LinkedIn after getting the solution. So it will be in my LinkedIn post. So whenever I face the same problem, I can check those problems as a note. And my recent days, I'm learning Spark. So whenever I'm trying to understand the Spark with an analogy, so recently I started posting that with the analogy. So I
Gotcha.
have seen that your quality post will get a lot of likes and lot of reaches.
Got you.
When
So,
I
so basically, what you're saying is either it's a new topic that you are learning about, you write a lot. I know Sanjay has been writing about things that he's been learning and he shares it very openly. That's one area, area A, I would call it. Area B is your what you said, what I heard you say was you write about things that a lot of people can relate to. So, like the problems being faced by today's young people or experienced people alike. So, can you give one example of one of the problems that is faced by suppose I'm a newbie and I want to start writing an article. If you can give your personal example of what in the last couple months, what is one area that you feel that a lot of people can relate to if they were a data analyst or if they were an IT professional in the industry?
there are many, but few of them are like how to ask for a referral. One thing. Second thing was resume, ATS friendly resume tips and tricks. Okay, that is not the basic one. Like whatever I learned from COE and you and Sanjay, so I make it a post like that. And also recently I faced some problem. I don't remember, but whenever I face any kind of problems, I posted that. But mostly on the resume related, because I am helping few people in LinkedIn as well, and mostly they are not from India actually. Recently I'm getting their those kind of texts. So I don't have time to check all the resume and do the thorough analysis. So I pointed out those main points, and I give them the template and give them the tips so that they won't struggle. And I check sometimes when they get ready with their resume. So these are the things I do. And recent problems is trying to understand the Spark cluster and the different types of things with the analogy, because I'm from arts background and I'm not too much in the backend. So understanding those complicated topics is really struggle for me. It's maybe easy for a software engineer background people, but that's why I find the analogy is better to understand some complex topic. So I'm more focusing on that actually, not to just post it on LinkedIn, but if I struggling to understand that, and if I find a solution with an analogy, I just create an image of that analogy like a template using ChatGPT, and just I'm posting that.
Nilay, I'd like to ask you a question, one more question. So there are a couple people I've seen that they do a very good job of reviewing technical books. For example, let's say the topic is Spark, and I have read a book. I have my own opinion about the book. I have appreciated a few points, and I have questions about maybe one point, right? So
Yeah.
is it okay to write a, let's say I don't know what to write about, but I have read a book which is either a professional book or a technical book or management book or whatever is it that my interest is. Is it okay to write about that? And I would like Sanjay to chime in because I know Akriti has written in the past, in the recent past, she wrote about a couple books like on professionalism, and it was appreciated by people. So is it okay to write about that kind of posts also?
Definitely, because you can't read millions of books, but if you're planning to read something, like if I write a summary,
Right.
so people can get the insights, quick insights, so they can dig deeper into it, right? Like I
Yeah.
have done it in when I read the big book of dashboard. So I find very good insights like pre-attentive attributes and what charts is not good to show. So these are the tips, and you should not use traffic light colors in your dashboards. So these are the things I have mentioned that I got this information from this book. And if someone is really struggling with their UI of their reports, they can check out that book, right?
Right.
So it will be helpful.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sanjay, do you have any comments on the book review part? Can we write about, have you done it? Have you done something like that yourself in the most recent past? Because I know in the library, we have a huge library group called as Read. And there you have given a lot of seminars, and you have been actively involved in like sharing your thoughts about good books that you've read. Is there anything that you have written recently or in the recent past about a book review?
No, I mean, in the recent past, no, I haven't written, but yeah, from time to time, the group I do post some insights which I got with different books. I mean, when I say books, it could be technical or even non-technical or self-help, any kind of book where I found some value add. And sometimes what I do is I just highlight the parts which are there where I found very interesting insights, and I used to share those screenshots in the group. But on LinkedIn, no, I haven't. I mean, one thing which I like about reading books is, I mean, I read mostly non-fiction. Very rarely I read fiction. So one thing which I like about non-fiction books is, I mean, it's again a mix of self-help and also like general topics which I find interesting. Definitely, I find some insights which are like which I never thought about. Like for example, right now I'm reading one book called Grit. So it talks about grit as a trait, like different studies, and like a research psychologist who has written this book, Angela Duckworth. It was very good. I found many topics where I was able to relate to my own life. And I mean, I haven't posted it on WhatsApp, but probably in the group I haven't posted. But once I complete reading it, probably I'll share few screenshots and few insights on that. Main thing which I want to talk when it comes to these books is like many people think that, okay, I have to read these many books, but you can read same book 10 times and you can implement that one point, which can change your life. So that is something which I want to really emphasize on, because sometimes what happens is we read a book and we find a lot of insights, but at the end of the day, we don't do anything about it. It is okay even if you read one chapter and if you implement that in real life, whether it's technical or non-technical. Let's say if you're reading a book about Python, so probably you can practice, let's say you completed one chapter. There is no rush. You can just complete that chapter, do all the exercises in the back, cross-check with the key or whatever they have given, and probably you can move to the next one. So getting into the number game, I won't recommend when it comes to books.
Completely agree.
Thank you so much, guys. Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to either share an opinion or ask a question? So I'm looking at Abhishek W, Kamla S, Pradeep, Pratik, Sonam, Umesh, Vijay. Anybody?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Um, previously, as we see, LinkedIn was providing the top voices, but apparently it has stopped. And as I see on Sanjay's profile, like there is a blue color top voice provided by LinkedIn. So my question is like how to get that efficiently.
Okay, so about the blue badge, earlier people used to think that blue badge will be given only to people who have lakhs of followers.
Yeah.
So when I got that blue badge, probably I was having around 50K. So
Mm.
very rarely you will find blue badges where you have followers less than 1 lakh. Most of the blue badges, if you see, most of them, majority of them, either it will be in lakhs or it will be in millions. So what mistake which many people did was, I can show you many accounts who started LinkedIn journey when I was there. I mean, around the same time when I was there during pandemic, but still they don't have a blue badge. And I can show you my posts which have much lesser engagement in terms of likes, follows, and I mean in every metric, my my posts will be inferior in terms of engagement, purely talking about numbers. But still, I got a blue badge because one of the mistakes what people do when it comes to LinkedIn is they try to use it as a promotional platform. Like for example, they'll write whatever garbage they want. They'll just write whatever they feel like. Like if I have to give you an example, like there are some people who write some jokes about some very serious topic. Okay, you can always use humor. You can always post memes, maybe tech memes. I do agree, but there are certain things where you have to take things seriously. You cannot simply, just because you have the freedom to post something doesn't mean that you just post whatever nonsense you want. And second thing what people do is they'll keep on promoting something like a particular brand or a course or something like that. I mean, nothing wrong. It is a self promotion, it is free, it's social media, nothing wrong if you promote. But the problem is people think that if you have these many followers or this much engagement, you'll get a blue badge. Blue badge is only given to people where there are genuine insights which you will not find other places, and there is high quality content. That is something which people miss. Like for example, like I mentioned, take every metric. I can show you some accounts which have far better engagement than me. Like for example, again, I don't want to go into, like, you can say bias, gender bias or something like that. You will see some accounts where some women they'll post very good selfies and they'll have lakhs of followers and they'll have thousands of likes. Still, they'll not have blue badge. They'll write good content only, but still they'll not get. Why? Because when you are actually posting something, that maturity of the content is very important. Anybody can go to chat gpt, write a, but I mean ask a prompt and copy paste that content. When a blue badge is given, they'll do a lot of cross checks and then they'll give you, and it is again not in your control. It is not in anybody's control. There is no particular formula to get it. Only formula for blue badges, you have to be consistent and you also have to post very genuine content which is not plagiarized, and you should also have some subject knowledge or some particular, you have to stick to particular subject knowledge which will give some insights. Over a period of time it will get. For me, I got this in the beginning of 2024 January. So almost I posted consistently for 2021, 22, 23. 3 years of consistent posting, I got it. Again, it can be removed as well because all these badges are temporary, like the minute you stop engagement or the minute you are not regular, it can get removed at any time. It is subjective. It is purely given by LinkedIn team. It's like that Twitter blue tick earlier, what used to be there, not the current one. So it is something which is given based on your history. You have to be consistent, you have to post high value content, and it should not be plagiarized and it should be very good quality. So it has nothing to do with metrics. I can also show you some top wise badges given to people who have less than 10% or less than 20% of engagement, which I get. So let's say if I post something, maybe I might get 200 likes. I can show you people who got blue badge who just get 10 likes, 20 likes, 30 likes also because they are posting very good content. But when it comes to transparency, I have no idea. Like to whom it is given. I am just giving my insights based on what I observed.
Noted, Sanjay. Thank you.
I have few examples of good posts and bad posts. Like I have seen one post that guy is just simply mentioning here are the top 10 job searching sites. Now you think about how practical that post is. If someone is searching for job, he or she can't register in 10 different sites and look for jobs in 10 different sites, right? So that is not a very help no, like very useful post. Okay. So instead, if you post that how to optimize Naukri or LinkedIn, that will be more valuable for the other people. And I have seen a post like many people post on LinkedIn, like there is a question, SQL question, and they are just writing codes to solve. And I'm telling you, nobody actually read your SQL codes or Python codes. I've seen one guy, I forget his name. He just took the question, he made a presentation in PPT, and whatever the result he get, he is visualizing the data. And I really like that, because that actually makes sense when you are trying to articulate your findings based on that questions to the stakeholder. And that kind of post, if it reaches to any hiring managers, they also appreciate, and they uh, give opportunities to those people.
Sanjay, on some posts I've seen that some people occasionally they will conduct polls. So they will say how many people believe that. Let's say there's a question. So how many people believe that they should do a certification in formal Microsoft certification in Power BI? And they'll say less than, and then they'll give two or three choices, and this is a poll that they conduct. Is it a good idea? Suppose I have a good question, not a generic question. If I have a good question, uh, is it a good idea to conduct polls occasionally as one of the options to write a post?
Yes, it's a good idea, because
Yes.
you
I mean,
you remember.
as long as it is genuine, it is something where yes, sometimes the polls can be meaningless as well. Yes, it is fine. Yes, Neela, please go ahead.
Yeah, I can remember one incident with Lakshmi TR, our COE member. She posted something related to DAX, and based on that poll, uh, Alberto Ferrari reaches out to her actually, so to get the answer, and they had a conversation regarding that formula. This is how polls can be useful, and you can reach us to the this kind of people actually.
Gotcha. So, guys, we are just about to wrap up in few minutes. If anybody has any last minute questions, this is your time to ask. You can also reach out to Sanjay or Nilay or Antish or Akriti or any other leads that we have. Always reach out to them in a polite way. Wait with patience for them to get back to you. You can always ask us questions. You can also write in any one of the groups, and there'll always be somebody to answer your question. I have been away. My name is Arun, and I've been away for a while due to some personal reasons, but I'm back as well. Um, um, and I'll be able to help anybody out with any questions that they have offline. So I'll give a couple minutes for anybody else to ask any last minute questions now, or we are about to wrap up.
Hi, hi Sanjay. Antish this side. So I had a question. So what are your suggestions for someone considering a job switch right now, looking at the market conditions?
Uh, okay, here I would like to give one analogy. Okay, so for example, I mean, again, it may sound little off topic or off the beat, but still I want to give this as an example just to give the answer to this question so that you'll understand my answer in a broader perspective. Okay, so I have a friend and he was applying for a loan. Okay, so he went to different banks. So he went to SBI, HDFC, Axis, like he went to 20 different banks. So in all banks, wherever bank he went and wherever he applied for the loan, he got rejected. So finally, after getting rejections everywhere, he said, I think banks don't have money. That's why they're not giving me loan, he said. Do you think that's the right conclusion?
No.
Of course not.
Huh? Yeah. So here also, I would say a lot of people are using the same logic. Oh, I am applying for a job, calls are not coming. So there are no jobs or there are no opportunities. Just like how example I gave before about banks and loans. Here also people use the same this thing. Okay, now tell me, do you see Naukri website shutting down? No. LinkedIn shutting down? No. Indeed.com shutting down. No. All the job websites are up. Their metrics are going up. So, yes, market is down if you say, yes, layoffs are happening, restructuring is happening, competition has increased. Agreed with all these points. But it doesn't mean that there is complete zero hiring, or it doesn't mean that there is no hiring at all.
Correct. And
Like,
then when you and I have been interacting with the seniors in the industry who are into HR or recruiting, or they are like directors or VPs, they have a totally different problem. They are
yeah,
telling me,
exactly.
my people
Yeah,
have been telling me that it is difficult to find the right person.
yeah,
People not
yeah,
understand the
exactly.
requirement.
Yes, exactly. So when you go to any HR or talent acquisition partner, go to any company. I mean, if you have any cousins or someone who's working in HR function, just go and tell. I mean, just go and ask what is their biggest challenge. The number one thing they will tell is we are not able to fill the roles. There are so many vacancies. We are searching and searching and searching for candidates. We are not able to find good people for those roles. And then you go to job seekers, and when you ask, then job seekers will say, oh, there are no jobs, the job market is bad, etc. Now, how can both be true? Here I'm talking about even experienced job seekers also, not just freshers. Now, if you think about this whole situation, HRs are telling they cannot find candidates. Candidates are telling they cannot find jobs. How can both of them be true? So the reason why both versions are true, because the expectations of the industry and what skills people have, there is a gap between both. So that is where the problem is coming. Today, if you see how the job market is, there are few guys who are getting like 10 offers, 20 offers, 30 offers. They don't know which offer to choose. And on the other hand, you will also see people struggling to get just even one offer. They're struggling to get even interview calls. The problem is the job market is, it's not like jobs are not there. Jobs are there. But what is happening is whoever is already having a job or whoever doesn't need a job, they are getting offers. The person who is actually in need of job or trying for the job, they are not getting it. The reason is, okay, imagine there is a person who is already working in the company, in a company, let's say as a Power BI developer. Now, why is he working as a Power BI developer in that company? Because he already has, he might have showcased some skills. That company might have hired him, and maybe he has 2 3 years of experience, and that's why he's doing the job. Now, let's say HR has to hire a Power BI resource. Now, what they are doing, they are not going to a fresher and they are going and hiring. What they are doing, they are searching for people who are already working as Power BI developer, reaching out to those people and saying, hey, are you ready for a switch? I'll give you this much of hike. This is what is exactly happening in the job market. Now, what freshers tell? Freshers tell that, oh, there are no jobs. It is very difficult. No internships are also there. At least internships, even I'm ready to work for free, but no one is ready to give an opportunity. This is what freshers say. Now you go to experienced people. What will they say? Oh, there are no jobs for experienced people. Very tight hiring is there because as you have more number of years of experience, the openings will become less and less because the hierarchy will move up. Like if I have to give you an example, let's say if you take Infosys as an, I mean, I'm just taking a random company. Let's say XYZ company is there. If there are 1,000 developers, for 1,000 developers, there will be only 200 managers. And for 200 managers, there will be only 50, maybe a senior manager or vice presidents. Let's say someone has 10 years of experience. Let's say someone is a fresher. There are 1,000 developer positions which are available. Let's say someone is a manager. How many openings are there? Only 200, not 1,000. So experienced people say that there are no enough openings, very less number of openings are there. Freshers say that there are openings, I'm trying to apply, but I am not getting the calls. If you look at this entire thing, it is very paradoxical because we are only looking at it from one perspective. We have to put ourselves into the shoes of a fresher. We also have to put ourselves into the shoes of a HR. Today, the reason why it is very difficult in the job market, because earlier what used to happen, at least in Indian market, at least from what my father used to say, if you are hired in a company, so let's say if someone hires you, they'll hire you right out of, I mean, just you need a college degree, some with decent communication skills and attitude. And if you attend the interview, Probably you'll get shortlisted, you'll get a job, and company themselves would give you training. And people used to stay in that job until they retire, or they would work at least 10, 20, or 30 years. They work only in decades, not in years. So companies also, what they used to do is they used to spend time, money, and energy to train people so that they know for a fact that if they train that person, he'll stay in the company for at least 10 years, next 10 years or 20 years. And if you look at the job history of people, probably three, 4 decades back, people used to start their career in the same company and they used to retire in the same company. Then the pattern has changed. Then what happened? Switching has become normal. It has become normalized. So earlier, if you switched, it was like a negative thing, like that people used to think you have no loyalty, etc., etc. Then the pattern has changed. The minute switching has become normal, what companies started thinking is, okay, I'll hire this fresher guy. I will give him training. What if he leaves after 2 years? I am going to give him 6 months of training. I have to pay him stipend. I have to give him salary. Then after 6 months, what will happen if he leaves? So why should I train him? Rather than hiring a fresher, I'll rather hire someone with 1 or 2 years of experience who is ready to work from day one. This is how companies are thinking. Yes, companies still have training programs, but very limited set of people hired from campus will have that. Not everyone. And that is exactly the reason why the job market looks tough. In fact,
Sanjay,
if you ask,
yeah,
just one
I
more
want
point,
to,
just one more point.
yeah, yeah, please.
Today, you are talking about India, right? Like this, right? Just go to website like Reddit, go to CS majors. There are some subreddits which are there in Reddit. Just read the experiences of people who are in Europe and India. Just 1 month back, I read one post on Reddit saying that the future of computer science stream in US is doomed. It is like disaster. And the reason what he wrote was he is working in a FANG company. Like I don't know which exact he wrote. He's a FANG engineer, and his entire team got moved or outsourced to India. And this is happened. And even in the comments, many people have confirmed that lot of companies in US have started outsourcing lot of the roles from US to India. So what US people are telling, oh, our jobs are lost, everything is getting outsourced to Asian countries, everything is getting outsourced to Philippines, Vietnam, India, everywhere. This is what they say. In India, what people say, oh, there are no jobs. In US, education system is better, that is better, this is better. So when you look at these opinions, only thing you can think about is grass is green on other side. Okay, yes, Arun, you can add. Probably, I think Arun can give more insights on this than me because he's
They,
in US.
when it comes to opinions, everybody has one. It's like a nose. Everybody has a nose, right?
Yeah,
So, so I, as far as I'm concerned, I don't listen to opinions. I go for
yeah.
facts. I'll give you a different perspective on the question that Antesh just asked. So the topic was job switch. So when somebody talks about a job switch, I'm assuming that the person has had a job, at least one job for some time, right? Agree, Antesh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now that person, let's say, is a data analyst. I'm just picking one example, or a financial analyst. Now this person is thinking, all that I want to do is I want to become a data analyst. I'm working for company X. Now I want to join company Y as a data analyst. This goal is too low. This goal is really too low. So it's okay to join as a senior data analyst. That's one option. But I have looked at many, many resumes, and I know some people very, very deeply, our COE resources that I've interacted with. And I found that this person has been into one role for some time, and this person has the caliber, the degree, the motivation, and this person is very suitable for a future role. And I thought, in one case, I thought that this person is great for a data engineer, right? Based upon his qualification, degree, everything, all in a holistic perspective. So one day I asked that person, "Are you considering this kind of upskilling?" Just to gauge his response. So this person said, "Yes, absolutely. I've heard a lot about it, and I'm interested too." And so then I had this person talk to our lead Ashok, and this person joined this course of data engineering. And it was a 12 weeks course. It's a great course. many people have joined that have seen 200% increase, 450% increase, X increase, and Y increase, and they're already working, right? This person, what they did was, uh, they they joined the course, hardly attend the classes, just listen to the videos every once in a while, and they put a goal in front of themselves. They said that my goal is to complete whatever Ashok taught in 6 months or 5 months or 3 months, whatever their goal was. As far as I can remember, the goal was 3 months. I'll do it. I missed a couple of classes, but I will cover up on my own. I will also be active in the group and make sure that I understand it so that I can jump from X lakhs to 2x or 1.5x, and it will set my career for the next 5 to 10 years. But in reality, the next time I spoke to that person was 3 months later. Now that I'm currently in India. I'm getting back tomorrow to US, day after tomorrow to US, and I asked this person once again. We spoke some time back. Have you done anything since then to complete the goal that you set up for yourself, and other people motivated you too? This person never actually did it. So in this particular case, the person is losing a golden opportunity in future for their own self. Nobody did anything to them. They can just claim that, oh, I was busy with my job, or they were busy with my girlfriend or boyfriend, or I was busy with the good movie came out these days. There's a movie called Sunny Deol movie came out, Jat. It is called as Jat. It is done with a very good format. So they saw all the movies. They were updated. They were updated with this person also got into you know helping few other people. They were So they got into things that filled up their time, but they never focused on the one goal that was set for them by a senior. They were So there are many cases like this where a person keeps on looking for the same job that he has held before. If he was a data analyst, he's looking for only data analyst. If he was a finance analyst, he's looking for only finance analyst. If he was a BA, he's only looking for BA in the next role also. So he has very low goals, looking after 1 or 2 lakhs here and there. And he's thinking, if I move from uh, X to Y company for a meager less than 5% increase, so he decided for himself that, okay, I'll change my job only when the future company is offering me 25 to 30% at least, at the bare minimum, or somebody had a goal of doing 50% at least. But now they are putting, if they are going for the same role, if they are working for one MNC and they're going for same role in a different MNC, they are not understanding that they are putting a lot of pressure on themselves, because they're doing the same role, just a different company. And because the company is paying highly to them, if there's a reduction in force happening or a layoff happening, they will be on the axe first. But if they change from that one role, in this particular case, in this example, if they switched over from a data analyst or a senior data analyst to a data engineer by upskilling, that would have been 100 times better. Because if you see the low end and the top end and the middle end, and if you are saying that I am a little above average, they can go in for little above average, or depending upon where they stand on the ladder, they can go for salaries which will support them for next few years, next many years. I don't want to take names, but uh, if those people, and those people will be listening to this recording, those people will also be listening to from me directly in the next few days or next month. By next month, almost everybody who did something like this would have heard from me. So I'm sharing it very openly without taking any names, that these people are a blocker for themselves. Nobody else is blocking them. The tariffs are not blocking them. Trump is not blocking them. Modi ji is not blocking them. Their parents are not blocking them. Their girlfriends or boyfriends are not blocking them. They themselves are their biggest hurdle in their own journey. So I want to be very, very frank and just offer this perspective. Back to Sanjay.
Yes. Now coming to the question which you asked, yeah, I talked about other topic and I went tangent. But coming to your topic on switching the jobs, so see right now how the market situation is. Like for example, you might have read these stories on LinkedIn where a offer will be rolled out. Suddenly they say the product is cancelled. It's a volatile market right now. So I mean everyone knows about it. Right now, what you have to see is don't resign or don't put your papers until you have an offer in hand. And don't just rely on one offer, have multiple offers in your hand. So you have to prepare very well that you need to have multiple offers and you should not put down the papers until you have an offer. These are the two major things because of the volatility which we are experiencing. But today, if you see the hiring, like what Arun has said, if you just keep looking for the same roles again and again, so some roles are like overpopulated, like the number of people who are applying for those roles and number of vacancies, there could be a mismatch. So today, if you see, a lot of roles are going into Gen AI, data engineering. So what will happen is the market will evolve over the period of time. So you have to focus on that. And another thing is when you're applying also, one of the mistakes what people do is, I mean, see, I understand personal life, different reasons will be there. I understand that if you want good opportunities, the number one rule which you have to keep in mind is you should be ready to relocate anywhere. Okay, if you are married and if you have kids, that's a different thing. But if you are
Absolutely. I
single,
couldn't
if you are
agree more,
unmarried,
Sanjay. I couldn't
yeah.
agree more, Sanjay. This is a very important topic because I was just about to say, I was thinking in my mind that, you know, we have had cases where somebody's in New Delhi and they got an offer from Bangalore. Somebody's in Gurgaon and and they got an offer in Chennai. It's a very good offer from not from just the perspective of salary, but from the perspective of learning. These people say no, either give me remote or either give me this. They'll put their own conditions. People are their biggest hurdle. Nobody else in the world, no economy, no problem is a hurdle. They are their own. They so there's a book called Get Out of Your Own Way. Write the link. If you have not been writing LinkedIn articles, do that. If you have not been, if you do not have a list of 20 recruiters in the top four geographies that you want, if you don't have that list, if you're not interacting with them, how can you even have a job search? If you're not active, if you're not connecting with people, how do people know you? So instead of focusing on short, like, you know, short term likes and short term, I'm indulging in this activity or I'm selling something, I'm offering one template to five different people on internet and I'm thinking I'm a very good guy, that will not help. If you absolutely focus on the goal, you will get it.
Yes, and location is one thing which I noticed. Like people are like, no, I want remote, I want this particular location. Okay, I'll not go to south or I'll not go to north, etc., etc. That is one. And second thing which I noticed is, like for example, again, I know like you might have read a lot of posts on this, but still I want to emphasize. I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with this. Like for example, someone was recently telling one of the fresher, okay, why should I join this job? Salary is only 15 or 20,000, barely enough for the expenses. I mean, nothing will be left in my savings because I have to pay education loan. I have this, I have that, PG expenses, whatever. I have to relocate, etc. So, what's the point of joining the job which is like paying 20,000 rupees a month? Probably I'll wait for something, etc., etc. That is fine. Now, the analogy which he gave is, oh, if you look at Swiggy or if you look at all these urban company, those guys are earning more money. They will earn 40, 50,000 every month. But having a degree, having an education, I'm only earning 20,000 rupees a month, etc., etc. This is what they were telling. That person was telling. A simple logic which people miss here is today you may start with 20,000, but 10 years later, it can become 2 lakhs per month. But a person who is doing Swiggy, his salary will not increase much. Probably today it is 40,000, probably it will become 80. You have to also look at the scalability of a particular job. So for example, if you and also another example which people give is I mean on a similar notes is okay, even if I join that job, anyway if I go to next job they'll ask me, okay, what is your last run salary? Indian market is bad. In US and other countries they don't ask for your previous pay, etc., etc. 100% agreed. The point is, for every problem there is a solution. Let's say if you started with a decent package, you don't have to switch much. But let's say if you started with a low package, yes, you have to do job hopping. That is the only way in Indian market to get good hike. Or probably you should get more promotions or more job hopping, something you have to do. But if you are saying that I will not get started until I get this much of salary, you will not go anywhere. And let's say you're already doing a job, and let's say you are switching for a job. You have to be clear about why you are switching. Now I'll tell you the reason why. Generally, I mean, if you are someone who is a working professional who has X number of years of experience, now I'll give you a very good example. I'll not take more than 2-3 minutes to explain this example, but I think it matters a lot in a long-term perspective. Just hear this example very carefully, and let's say you are the manager and you have to take a decision. It's a situation which I want to give you. Okay, there is one person who is working as a developer, and this person, so you have 5 developers in your team. There is one person who is an amazing developer, and whatever project you throw at him, how complex it is, he will deliver it. And from the last 3 years, he has been the best developer in your team. Okay, so out of those 5 developers, one developer, let's call him A, is very good. Any project he'll deliver on time, no escalations, everything is very good, and every time he is the best performing developer. Okay, that is one person. Let's say there is another developer. Now this developer is very average guy. I mean, he'll just get the work done. Not fantastic, at the same time, not bad. Not good, not bad. He's just okay. He's good. That's it. Now, can you tell me developer 1 will get promotion or developer 2 will get promotion?
Developer 1.
Developer 1. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now, okay, you said developer 1. Now I'll add more context to this same situation. Now let's assume that developer 1 is very good in coding. He is very, very good in technical skills, but his communication skills are not up to the mark. He is not a team player. He is always individualistic in nature. And let's say the developer 2 is very average, but he has good communication skills and he works very well and gels well with other members of the team. Now tell me who will get promotion as
Developer
a
2.
lead. Right? Developer 2 will get. Why? Even though his skills are average, he is demonstrating certain skills to become a lead. Because if you are a developer, 100% of your performance is based on how well you can write a code. You are writing good code, so you are the best developer. But let's say you want to become a lead, or let's say you want to become a manager. Then your coding skills will become just 10 or 20% of that profile. Then your skills will be gauged against how good of you will become I mean, how good are you as a manager? You will not be gauged as how good are you with developer. With developer, your technical skills 100 out of 100. But as a manager, your coding or technical knowledge is only 20%. 20% is team management. 20% is your communication skills. 20% is how well you gel with other team members, how well you collaborate, and other 20% is your proactiveness. All these things will form 100%. As long as you're working as a developer, you are the best developer, you are writing the best code, you will get awards for being the best developers. The minute I gauge you as a manager, because you're only good in technical skills, but not in your communication skills or proactiveness or being a team player, you're not good, you will never get promoted. You will always be a developer and you'll always get the award. but you'll never become a manager. But the other guy who is very average in coding, he will go one step ahead of you. Tomorrow you have to report to that guy who is just average at coding. Why? Because that person has the skill set what it requires to go from a developer to manager. So what people generally say outside, oh, there are a lot of politics. I received the developer of the year award 3 times. I write very good code, but some other guy who is writing very average code got a promotion. But what is the problem here? When you gauge as a developer, yes, developer one is good. But when you gauge the same two people as a manager, the developer two is better because he has other skill sets which are relevant for the manager profile. Now here also it's the same thing. One is, yes, going from data analyst to data engineering, different skill sets. Now that is a developer skill set. Now, how will you go from a developer to a lead or developer to an architect, developer to a manager? Because once you are a developer, you will soon reach a point where you will become too expensive for the company. Let's say you're a developer. Let's say you started with 5 lakhs. Eventually, let's say you reach 30 lakhs package. Then what company will think, Arey, why should I pay this guy 30 lakhs? Rather, I'll hire two guys whom I can pay 10 lakhs each. So 10 lakhs will be 20 lakhs, and I'll get two people and I'll make them work in 2 shifts. Why should I hire a person with 30 lakh salary? I'll just hire two people with 10 lakh salary. And then you will eventually get faded away in the market. So what you have to keep in mind is just focusing on your technical skills and keep trying for the same level of roles is also bad. You also have to think what is your next role. Okay, now you are working as a developer. How to become a senior developer? Let's say you're a senior developer. How to become a lead? Let's say you're a lead. How to become a manager? Okay, you're a manager. How to become a VP, vice president? So that is what will give you a organic career growth. Today, what people do is they are only focusing on their desk. They are only focusing on what they have to do. They are not thinking about next role. They are not thinking about diversifying their skill set. In big scheme of things, this is what matters. And every time you see in organizations, the best developers will never get promoted. It is always a person who has multiple skill sets who will get promoted. Specialists will always remain specialists. It is generalists who will keep going up the ladder because a specialist will become a subject matter expert. But if you want to get into management or if you want to go into bigger ranks, if you want to increase your salary, as a developer, up to certain limit you can earn a salary. Beyond that salary, you will become expensive and you will be replaced by junior developers. The only way to increase your salary is you have to step into managerial roles. How will you step into managerial roles? You will step into managerial roles when you are a generalist. When you are a developer, yes, you have to be a specialist. But slowly you have to do the transition. Today, what I see is people are only thinking about, and people are assuming that this is how the life is going to be for the next 20, 30 years. No, by the time you reach 30, you are already considered as old in the world of IT. I mean, mid-age, you can say. By the time you are 35, you are considered old as a developer. So by the time you are hitting your 30s, you should be in a people manager role where you are managing a team or you are managing a set of people or set of projects, something you have to be there. If that is not your thought process, then what will happen is technically you may be sound, you may be a specialist, you may be subject matter expert, but your career growth will stop there and then itself. You will not go beyond. When you don't go beyond, what will happen? Your salary will not increase. Your salary will hit a ceiling. So that is very important thing to do. Even when you are doing a job switch or when you are moving from company to company or organization to organization, one thing you have to keep in mind is, let's say you are working in an organization right now. Let's say you are working as a developer. Let's say you are working for the last 2 years as a developer. Now you have two options. If you switch to a new company, let's say you'll get 40% hike. But if you stay in the same company, you'll get only 10% hike. But since you worked in the last 2 years in the same company, let's say they are ready to give you a lead position. Let's say you'll go to the lead position by staying back in the same company. Let's say you work as a lead for 1 year. Now, when you switch, you will get even bigger hike. Why? Because when you already worked as a lead, you can again apply as a lead in the other company. But here, what people are doing, they are working as developer for 2 years. They are not waiting for the promotion and they're again applying for a developer role. Soon what will happen? They'll hit a ceiling and their career will stop. So you should see long term. It is not just the salary package. You should also see what is the trajectory in which you are going. Let's say if you're working in the same company and let's say you have a chance to become a manager or a lead, you have to stay back, spend that 1 or 2 years extra, then you can switch as a manager into some other company. So this is something which you have to see. And now why I told this point, because let's say you worked as a developer for 2 years and you made a switch. Again, when you make a switch, again there you have to work for at least 2 or 3 years to get that promotion. If you have stayed in the company, by third year you would have become a lead. But since you made a switch for 30% or 40% hike, again you have to wait for 2 years to get into that manager position. That is something which you have to keep in mind.
Got it, Sanjay.
Arun, your thoughts?
So there is a question from Prateek, like he was.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
Prateek.
Hello.
Hello, Prateek.
I
Sorry,
hope everyone is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I don't have a question, but I have a statement to make. Uh, Means like okay, we have heard for like personal branding and promotions and all, as you have like stated it very much clear. But I would like to add key if we focus on one thing like problem solving and all, so it will like will be very much focused on what problems are we solving and how can we are getting better day by day to actually solve that problem. So in that case, that what problem my manager is solving, what problem my VP is solving. So in that case, if we start analyzing that, so like we may like very well like get better equipped in all those technologies as well. Like bringing back to the context of this webinar, like building a personal branding. So for the each and every participant, like we just watched the headline and we just joined the webinar, but did we everyone within ourselves ask this question that why do we need to like develop this personal branding, as you have said pretty much clear in the starting of this webinar. So it is not about point like how much followers are we getting on LinkedIn, or like are we getting that view badge or not. Means how better are we equipped in solving that problem. For example, we are doing very much basic tasks in our day-to-day job life. So what problem did I solve today, and how I was better equipped? What can I do better in that case? Because if we watch that post 1 year later, like we may like analyze that progress, that how much we have progressed in all. So that was the point. If you can focus on like which problems you are solving, what are you gaining knowledge every day. So likewise, this is what I meant to say.
Okay.
Thank you, Prateek, for that insight. Are there any questions or comments before we wrap up, guys?
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, sir. Sanjay sir, I have a question regarding so how exactly you are keeping yourself updated in the specifically, let's say in Power BI first, and the second is currently as companies also asking for the certifications such as PL 300 and the other certifications. So if you are given any certification, then how exactly you prepared for the certifications? And the third is, can you please help me with the how exactly the LinkedIn Premium? So and who should like as you mentioned earlier itself, it's expensive. So who should opt for the LinkedIn Premium?
I mean, LinkedIn Premium, to be very honest, I haven't purchased it. It was provided by LinkedIn only after getting the top voice badge. I just purchased for 1 year, I think from Antish only I got it. He's giving it at discounted price. But after that 1 year, automatically that was given to my by LinkedIn. But to be very honest, I rarely use the premium features because most of the premium features which you get is related to messaging people. It will be more helpful for people who are into marketing or sales and marketing because they have to generate leads, they have to reach out to people, cold message. For them, it will be really helpful for consultants and for marketers, sales and marketing department. for normal people, okay, I mean, yes, you can definitely reach out to recruiters and HRs, but I don't see much value, to be very honest. And one good thing about LinkedIn Premium is it has LinkedIn Learning. So you can do as many courses as you want. There is no limit to that. And there are some very decent courses which are available there. So for that, you can take it. But again, you have to see, because if you look at the pricing of LinkedIn Premium, if you are getting at a discounted price, definitely it's a good deal. But if you want to spend too much, then I won't recommend it, the original price, because the original price will come down to around 700 or 800 rupees a month. And only until and unless you dedicatedly spend 2 3 hours every day on LinkedIn Learning, then I don't think it is really that good. Rather, I will suggest you to take 800 rupees subscription on Udemy, or maybe you can apply for a financial aid on Coursera, or probably take one of the courses which our COE members are taking at a affordable price, something like that, because at least there's an interaction. For pre-recorded courses, I don't see much value. So that is my thought process. I mean, it's good, but again, if you are tight on budget, I won't recommend. If you are not tight on budget, if you can spend, then yeah, well and good. It's I mean, always insightful to learn things. Now coming, what is your another question? One is related to LinkedIn Premium. Another one is
Yes, sir. So my another question is basically how exactly you are keeping yourself updated in the era such as technologies. Let's say, for example, uh, so we
yes,
are
yes. So yes, yes. So one thing is I follow few people who are experts in that field, like Arun has mentioned. Whichever field you are there, you can just type in Google. Like let's say if you are working in AI, just type who are the top 10 people in AI or top 10 companies in AI. Try to follow those people, or just once you know, okay, these are the top startups or companies working in AI, just go there and I mean, search for the top guys in that particular company and then start following them, because these days many people in leadership roles in companies, they are active on LinkedIn, even subject matter experts also for that matter. So that is one way to keep yourself updated. And second way to keep yourself updated is probably if you are interested in a specific technology, I would say you can take like a course, something to upskill, a short-term course, not like degree or something, because online degree, those are all, they'll take a lot of time for commitment. Maybe you can take a short-term course or a crash course probably to get updated. And also you can follow certain resources. Like if I have to take AI as an example, if I have to give you my own case. So what I do is, when you talk about AI, it's a very broad field, as you know. I mean, there are a lot of companies which are working on AI these days. Everything is AI these days. So, to follow the curated content which is there, one thing which I follow is the McKinsey one is there. There's a blog. So that is one thing which I follow. Next thing is I do follow these inside the reports published by Deloitte. Deloitte especially I really like, because they give very nice reports on that. I mean, on the insights. On the technical side, I do follow GitHub. I'll see the repos which are there. And then there are few people like Andrew, who is there, is very famous for machine learning. And then LLMs also, I just try to follow, like from Google only, you have the news section. So there I'll try to see if there are any good news related to that or not. And yeah, it's a mix of multiple things. But again, you have to curate your content, because if you say AI, there is Gen AI. AI also, you have a lot of topics under that particular category. The more you can narrow it down, the better it is. Like for example, right now, if you take me, I am focusing more on finance and AI combination. Even my LinkedIn title, if you see, you will see finance and AI. I'm very specifically interested in AI related to finance. So the more you narrow it down, the more easy it becomes for you to curate the content.
Uh, Another perspective I would like to add to this remark is, so Sanjay gave an example of, you know, people that you must follow, or the, things like GitHub that you need to follow, either tools, technology, resources that you need to follow. But nobody talks about what you must unfollow. You will save a lot of time. You will learn a lot by unfollowing different people. You don't have to do anything. All that you do is unfollow them. For example, if you have a negative minded person in your life, whether it is a professional or a personal situation, unfollow them. Do a less interaction with them. Unfollow people. Unfollow uh, weird um, or negative serials on television, unfollow the news that only demotivates you, unfollow all these kind of things that bring negativity into your life, and you will find that you have enough time in the world. Even if you read half an hour every day, even if you do literally half an hour every day, choose one or two areas which you must follow. You should always remember what you must unfollow. It will save you a lot of time. Get rid of the damn distractions in your life. You will be successful. I guarantee that.
Yes, and one session here which I would like, I mean, couple of sessions which I want to give with respect to what Arun has said is what I generally do as a thumb rule is, I mean, I follow this, I mean, not a regular interval, I would say, but once in a year or once in 6 months, depending on how I feel. So there are some extensions which you can get in Chrome or even in Edge for that matter, where you can unsubscribe to all YouTube channels or unsubscribe or unfollow everything. If you just install that extension, go to youtube.com and say, click that extension, that button, it'll unfollow everything. Second thing, what I do is I'll just clear the entire history. So that what will happen is I can again, because what will often happen is whatever we are consuming, it is like a cycle. It will keep on recommending based on your watch history. So whenever I want to clean up my feed on social media or websites like YouTube, first I will install that extension, unsubscribe everything. Second thing what I do is I'll remove everything in the watch history and I will start consuming content related to the topic which I want. Then probably in a period of 10 days or 2 weeks, the content will start populating which is related to what I want. Otherwise, what will happen is even if I start today, let's say if I start watching some videos on AI, still it will keep recommending me Power BI, what is Excel, some old videos it will keep recommending because of my long watch history. So if I think if you can clear your history and restart with new channels and unfollow everything in the past, that is a very good way to clean up your feed and start fresh.
Correct. I mean, if I'm going from Kolkata to Chennai, or if I'm traveling from Pune to Mahabaleshwar, if I'm carrying one bag, if I'm carrying necessary luggage that I need from Pune to Mahabaleshwar, it will help me. If I'm traveling from Delhi to Jaipur, it's a 3 or 4 hours drive. I'll carry only that much that is needed for my next step, right? What if I carry a lot of extra baggage? Because that's what people are doing today. They are carrying a lot of extra baggage and they keep getting a lot of feed from all these areas, and they carry that extra baggage which ends up overwhelming them or tiring them or demotivating them. So what Sanjay said is a great example, and I know one person at least right now, that two people at least in a group that are doing it very well. One of them is Nilay Mukhopadhyay. I've seen tremendous progress and change. I've seen Sanjay himself. I've seen Akriti Gupta. So these are just a few people. Um, I would also name Rashika. There are, and this is not the entire comprehensive list. If you follow any one of the leads, you will realize that they are, uh, instead of carrying a lot of extra baggage, occasionally they will, choose their channels very carefully based upon what is the next step at this stage of their lives. So when I was in 11th standard, I may have had five girlfriends, and I might have been focused on XYZ type of information, or I may be very interested in something at that moment. But I have progressed to a different stage in my life. So based upon where you are at in your life, you should think about what are the things that I must follow or unfollow. So think about both the lists, not just once you need to follow. Having said that, we'll take one last question if there's any, from anybody, and we'll wrap up. And we will continue to have engaging discussions such as this in our next seminar. So who wants to take that? Go with the last question. Anyone? Kamla has been quiet, or Pradeep?
Hi, Arun.
Hi,
Hi,
Kamla.
Arun.
Do you have
Kamla here.
so Kamla from the session today, or Pradeep? This is an open question for everybody. From the seminar today, what's the one thing you've learned? Or either you can answer this, or you can say, based upon information you provide by Sanjay, the engaging session that we've had, what's the one thing that you will do? Because so far it was very nice listening to him, very nice motivating talk and all that. But what is the one thing that you will do differently today, tonight? As in India, it must be around 1:13, right? Or
Yes.
depending upon what is the one thing that you will do today before you sleep, or one thing that you'll do this week, that shows that you are not just motivated for 1 hour or half an hour, you are motivated throughout. So what's the one thing that you'll do differently? Anyone?
Hi, Arun.
Yes, Nilay.
Yeah. So I want to confess one thing that recently I developed a habit which is I think is not good, because after returning from the office, I started watching news and I started discussing about politics with my friends and like what is happening in Chennai and what is happening in West Bengal. So I'm getting more into it. Like those are not my problems, but I'm started thinking about those problems and there's a lot of political things and news. I'm watching news every time, and I just recall when Sanjay said that when you will unsubscribe all those channels and your content will filled with whatever what you want to learn. I recall those days when I used to talk, when I used to be an active participant in the COE. That time, if you open my YouTube, open my Google, anything, if you open in even in Instagram, you will see the Power BI and Power BI and Power BI. So I all I already installed many months ago the Facebook and the Instagram, because I got some habits of watching reels, which is a really big problem in this generation. Watching many people in my PG and in my office, they are using expensive phones, but they are just watching, scrolling reels and just yeah, they are engaging with reels. So I get rid of that habit, but I'm getting into more into the news, watching news and all these things. These are trash, I think, and that's why sometimes I'm losing my focus. And I want you to throw some lights on this, that I'm thinking right or wrong, actually.
Well, you're absolutely right. I met a youngster last week, and they said that I'm very distracted. I don't think that my people are good, so I've been trying to subscribe to some really good people, and I asked. I asked them, how do you source? And Sanjay, you're going to laugh at this. Akriti, all of you are going to laugh at this. So I asked them, so who are the new people you have subscribed to based upon your research, your self awareness? And they said, well, my classmates, and they are doing their BBA. My classmates are not giving me the intellectual stimulation. So what I did was I subscribed to couple apps. Said, okay, what? And when they told me the name of the apps, I jumped from my chair. The name of the app they suggested was, uh, there's an app called Couples Chat. There's an app called Hinge, Hinge, Hinge. It is something more like Tinder. So I was
These are dating apps.
seriously. So
Dating
I
apps.
thought to myself, they're trying to get more friends from outside. So if let's say they're in New Delhi, right, and they're trying to make more friends outside, but they are choosing new people to subscribe. They totally missed the message. They are subscribing people from Hinge and Couples Chat, which I don't think is going to give them new ideas in the field that they are developing themselves. And they now, some people, what happens is, let's talk about a different situation. Some people, when they recently get married and they get into a family life, suddenly, apart from the professional life, that they start thinking about, you know, what are the things that affect different families, and that's where your religion or politics or these conversations come in. You start feeling passionate about things larger than just the professional life. So sometimes, I mean, it's okay to think about them, because I think about, for example, in New Delhi, I do think about tariffs. I do think about market changes that are happening. I do think about there was a recently on television there was a something about Aurangzeb, right? People are digging bones of Aurangzeb by watching a movie and all.
Oh,
So,
Chava.
right. So I do hear about those things, but I choose how much time I will need to spend on this. If I'm finding myself becoming too passionate about the topics which don't make any sense in today's environment or my goals, I try to get rid of them. So I'll spend a minute on them if somebody's talking about them. I will not ignore them or make unnecessarily make enemies, or but I will choose a topic to quickly divert my attention from those topics. So that's the only thing I can do.
Yes, yes.
No, so
Currently, I'm
you are doing the right
watching
thing. So you are doing the right
one.
thing. It's just I'm sure that there's been a slight change in your life, uh,
Yeah,
and that's why there's a renewed interest in some of these things. But it's just a passing. It's just a passing stage. This stage will go, and uh, occasionally it's okay. One cannot be like a monk every time think of education. So it's okay to indulge in these, but I think, Nila, you are one of the most self-correcting people. Uh, that once you listen to the experience of other people, you realize, okay, this is adding value, this is not adding value, and you will yourself self-correct in those topics. Most people are like that, but for some people, they need to hear from somebody. Um, they need to be reminded and refreshed of their goals. And as I said,
yeah.
as I gave
This,
my example before, I'll reach out to those people who have. I have written down everybody's goals that interacted me, and it's high time. It's almost 6 months. I will reach out to all those people. I will remind them of their goals, and I will remind those Hanumans that they have storehouse of power in themselves, and so I will try to understand what has happened in the last few months, and how are they planning to refresh their goals. That's my promise to them.
sure.
That includes many of the people in this particular group today.
This
All right,
massive thing
guys.
is happening in West Bengal. You know that 26,000 people lost their government job,
Yes, I'm very
and
well aware of everything
and
happening in
but
India.
having a conversation for 1 hour with a friend like this, it's nonsense, right? It does not make any sense. Does not add any value to my life actually,
Correct. And
because I have.
so you're doing the right thing
Yeah,
already, and I'm sure once in a while here and there it's okay. But I mean, indulging in it and posting incessantly on LinkedIn about those topics, they ultimately don't add value to your time, and they don't for sure add anything to anybody else as well.
exactly.
All right, guys. Thank you, Sanjay, for this wonderful session, and we hope that you'll keep coming. And I also expect all the other leads to start participating once again with renewed interest. And I thank everybody for this session today. Akriti, time to wrap up. Thank you for being a wonderful host along with Mr. Prem Sai.
Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend, guys.
Three cheers for Sanjay. Yoo!
Yo.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for hosting this session.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.